me just tell you this, Lucas, cones are not magical. I just placed it before you. You need to jump at the right time, Lucas. You can't phase when you jump down at the time you need to jump up to break the wall. No. I'm getting those stuff eventually, but I'm not prepared to be a streamer yet. Or just a YouTuber in general. Good luck, job.
Is now a good time for a flare up. Enough, Crones. For adults with mind, who's then beaten by the one and only VAJ. VAJ was known for his rather excited reactions to his old records. But this time, he was a bit more subdued. Yeah, motherfucker. Since VAJ's record in 2012, 15 new records have been set, all of which came from just 2 players, Matthias Rustmeyer, or MR, and Dan Burbank. Matthias had the world record in early 2014 with 38.
There's a group with a pet back bling. You know that kid's easy.
Matthias was taking this hill with a more aggressive jump than players in the past, cutting the corner more and saving time. Dan worked hard to perfect this by jumping far left in the air and cutting back right to land closer to the track. He also began to do a mini turbo slightly sooner after this hill jump than Matthias. In both these situations, we're talking about tiny amounts of time saving, just a few hundredths of a second, but in a run as precise, every frame counts. These 2 players traded the record back and forth for a few months as the time went down from the 3860s to the 3850s, and eventually to the 3840s. You might think that since the game runs at 25 or 30 frames per second, the players can only gain time in increments of about 0.04. But the game has a precise method for determining when you finish. It determines how much of your cart is over the finish line.
Oh, is that you? I used my alt to shoot you.
So it was actually possible to improve by just 0.01. Most of Dan's records at this point were actually played on NTSC rather than PAL. But Dan switched to playing on PAL in early 2014.
This kid keyed me, bro.
He set 4 world records in a row.
No, I won.
This eventually began changing his second short
That was a hella grief.
Once he did, he got a world record of 38.29.
He thought he would win, but he didn't really. Aw, dang it, I want that free kill. It's a Groot with a pet back. There's no way he's not a mom.
So that's it for the non-shortcut flat record. It's time to talk about some shortcuts. This is the history of the shortcut flat record. Welcome to 1997.
I was drinking a big pot when you said that.
Shortly after the game came out, a guy named David Ward began posting about shortcut discoveries he was finding. And one of the craziest ones he discovered was from May 1997 on Frapsno Land. By going backwards at the start of the bridge, then driving off of it directly onto the snow, passing the finish line that extends outward.
I can't do anything! This loser just sitting in storm.
All you have to do then is drive forward and finish the lap. This trick works because of Mario Kart 64's strange way of keeping track of where you are.
I didn't get a single heal that game. I only got shields. And I still only got shields, so I'm just gonna keep some more.
So it'll add a lap if you cross the finish line and subtract one if you cross it the other way. The cutoff point for the 20 markers is right in front of the bridge. So, if you go onto the snow there and go out of bounds just past the finish line,
no, I'm not.
It has your location set more than 20 markers away. So, it doesn't subtract the lap limit.
Yeah, no, this kid builds like you, but he isn't you.
Players quickly scramble to figure out how to apply this trick to a flat record. And this
me and someone basically just teamed on this kid, and I feel bad now.
This is one of Mario Kart 64's oldest known world records for video. Miles went to the end of the lap and then hopped off the bridge onto the snow, and positioned himself right before the end of the lap on the very edge of what's considered still in bounds. By then driving forward slightly, the lap ended, and he was immediately out of bounds and picked up at lap 2. Upon being placed down, a well-timed mushroom and drift was all needed. This time of 5.40, or 6.
He has a better pump.
Was essentially the lowest this time could go, and a few players tied it over the following years. But then, in 2004, Miles discovered a new way of lowering the shortcut record. This version didn't involve the bridge, but it did involve the area right behind the finish line. Probably one of the most broken regions of any track in any racing game.
Now's the time to try something new. We've got the selection of styles to make it happen. Now at Men's Warehouse, suits start at $89, plus shirts start at $25. Now lower prices all day, every day. Because helping you is just our style. Men's Warehouse.
B&H is here. From our homes to yours, as your collaborators, creative partners, and problem solvers.
Yeah, don't rush me, kid. Don't rush me. Get off me.
47 years of creative expertise.
Oh, cool. You set up a last year DJ set? Okay, I can help you with that.
So click, chat, or call us.
Sure, pull back anytime.
Tap you off through it.
B&H, your creative partner since 1973.
GG.
That's pretty natural.
It has to do with this polygon off to the left.
If I didn't hit that pump shot, I might have died.
It kind of has the same property as the bridge, where if you land there, the game doesn't subtract the lap upon getting
Got 3 kills that round, I'm pretty
So
sure.
the player has to cross the finish line, then find a way to hook back left to get to the polygon.
Oh, you have a garbage? I feel bad for
The
you.
player would normally be marked as out of bounds before getting there. But hey, this is Mario Kart 64, so of course there's a way around that. This time, it's thanks to a trick called the Lakitu effect. After setting you down, Lakitu has a brief period of time when you can't pick you up again, even if you go out of bounds. So, the player can get to the end of the lap, drive out of bounds.
I just got triple dings. Okay, well, that's fine. I just died off spawn in one game. The kid was actually really good.
Across the finish line, then hook back left onto the polygon before Lakitu is finally able to stop you and pick you up. When Lakitu places you down, you're much closer to the finish than on the bridge back, so you can finish the lap about a half-second faster. Once again, players...
Yeah, it was the spider guy and using the star wand.
eventually
No, it's a focus. It's not.
0.90 at TSC time, where it stood as a three-way tie with Greg I, Miles, and BHA. But then on September 6th, 2014, Miles sat down to record a tutorial video on how to do the shortcut. And while he was explaining how
You missed so many shots.
this happened.
Did you see that?
He accidentally beat the world record by 100th of a second. Legendary stuff. This time was equivalent to a 5.88 on PAL. A couple years later, this
What?
record once again be improved. This time by a guy named Marcos.
Oh my gosh. Cheater Jexa. Chill, bro.
He'd be placed down by
You don't need to do retakes in a zone war.
slightly different version of the shortcut by getting a big bounce off the base of the hill, landing a bit closer on the
I mean, he is
polygon,
kinda low.
ultimately getting picked up by Lakitu just a bit sooner. Place it-
Those retakes aren't even that hard, but
It
whatever.
saves just a tiny bit of time on the old shortcut.
But yeah, he has to boogie in his next fight, or else he's
Marcos took
dead.
the record down to 5.77 in July 2016.
Oh, he's dead.
Which is where the record stood for over 3 years. But by the middle of 2019, a player known as Abney317
L2
was
nerds.
a 5.83. He was grinding attempts live on his Twitch stream. It was just an incredible
L2 nerds is a bum name. How am I still first? I died right off spawn.
off a 5-second lap.
I mean, as long as Kamon doesn't get any good points, then I win.
Oh, what the? I didn't turn.
He had done most of the shortcut correctly, but his bounce was strange. It went
I got some pretty awful
forward.
loot, I'm not gonna lie.
Hence his exasperated reaction. He wasn't on the correct polygon, and the trip wouldn't work. Right? attempt shouldn't have worked. But instead, he beat Marco.
I literally just got keyed by 2 people, bro. This loser.
Worked, which I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, wasn't accurate.
It only does a combat, bro.
It turns out, with a bit of preparation, landing in any of these
Nice building, by the way.
happening across the finish line. So the
It's not like you're supposed to protect yourself when you build.
the hill crossed on top of these polygons, which, since he got to the end of the lap and doing the bridge shortcut, are about to give you a position of more than 20 markers behind the finish line. He then moves slightly to the left while facing to the right, crossing back over the finish line. But since the game thought he was behind marker 20, it didn't subtract the lap. So, he was at the end of the lap despite not being...
I want K-Mon to, like, not get any points.
He had taken a more direct path to the polygons instead of going for a left.
Yeah, that's K-Mon, please. Marco Polo, please. No, K-Mon's gonna get a kill. No. Dang it. K-Mon's ahead of me now.
With crazy precision, he did this time world record. Welcome to the 3-lap shortcut. It looks like this.
No! K-Mon just got another kill. Please, K-Mon's the superhero skin.
The 3-lap shortcut strategy is extremely technical.
K-Mon just killed another kid.
Right after the race begins, turn around to go.
Who are these bums? They're dying to K-Mon. Bro! K-Mon literally just won. Oh my gosh. He's up by 7 now. I mean, he's not awful, but like, bruh.
For the first several years after the shortcut was developed in 1997, it was the usual suspects taking the record down.
I don't know. If you can find him off spawn, then sure.
Taking the record down to
I see him. I'm gonna key him off spawn.
In 2002, Ben M went on streak of his own, setting 5 records in a row. But none of these old records seem to have survived the video today. But in 2003, the strategy for the course changed a little bit. Weatherton figured out that it was actually slightly faster to go to the left in Clutterbound instead of to the right. So, starting in 2003,
Never mind, he's too good.
set down on the bridge, they would quickly do an 80 spin and then turn left, then mushroom out of bounds. Players still did their first shortcut to the right.
I can't tell. I just lost, like, nah, bro. He's actually really
In
good.
the 2000s, players continued to take fractions of a second off the record as the time crept down to a lower 26. Eventually, they began to go left on the first lap to save the extra time.
But it doesn't help that I got spammed from 4 sides.
26.08 from 2007. But then, over the next few years, an incredible world record battle developed between Greg I and DAJ. Very little video of their records are around online, but we do know quite a bit about their strategies. To set a new record at this point, extremely precise paths had to be used. The blue and red lines represent the 2 paths players can take to the shortcut. The blue one is called the wide path, while the red one is the forward path. The wide path allowed you to go out of bounds sooner after crossing the finish line, but allowed you to set you back further on the bridge. The forward path involved you cutting the corner of the track to get to the snow, and it forces you to drive further past the finish line for the bridge to still work, but you respawn in front of the bridge. You can see from the map the differences in where you had to go out of bounds for each path, and the differences in where you respawn. Respawning farther forward makes it harder to quickly get back to the snow and have the trick still work. So, the optimal way to do it is to take the blue wide path for the first 2 laps to easily spin to the snow and go out of bounds sooner, then take the red forward path for the last lap so you spawned it closer to the finish line. Of course, this wasn't entirely clear back when these 2 guys were battling. So Greg ended up doing 3 forward paths in his attempts, while VAJ correctly did 2 wides in their forward. In the end, though, it wouldn't matter. These guys would end up getting the exact same time as 25.86 in 2012, a tied world record that stood for 6 years. By 2018,
That's
the oldest world record.
it's either E-Boy or K-Mon.
Research to his bench needed. Hopping before doing an 8B spin in
That's K-Mon.
So Abney hopped before the 8B spin on the
Oh no, he has all the piece control. Oh! He just got shit on, bro.
These strats, both developed by Weatherton, were enough to help help him meet the oldest world record.
Just go for heal off. Just go for heal off. You have plenty of heals. But someone might have 2 floppers, so you gotta watch out.
Well,
No, someone might have floppers though.
And the last one is point challenge.
I know, but floppers are worth more. How did he just immediately die?
Perfectly as possible. Over the years, this record has been refined to where driving needs to be essentially flawless everywhere.
I don't know what.
Corner cuts need to be perfect down to the 100th of a second. It's the absolute test of how well a player can drive. This is the non-shortcut 3-lap record. The early history of the record saw it being traded back and forth between Penev and Peter.
Leave. Leave.
Despite the fact that Peter Reed
Yes.
was on TSC, he was able to outlast Penev and ultimately. By 2005, Eddie T was able to provide us with the first video of a 3-lap non-shortcut record, a 201.19 that was played on a TSC. His record had everything you would
Yeah, it's just blue.
tight drifting around snowbanks, being carefully at close to them without touching them and slowing down, and getting the right angle around every turn.
It is
It's
just.
important to know where
If you search a blue Rio, it won't show me.
used one on each lap. During the spot that the third mushroom was used in the flat record, he cut right over the snowbank and hopped down to the track. MJ was the first person to take the record under 201, getting 2 minutes .98 in March 2008. But in 2014, the scene would once again shift, and over the following several months, records would trade hands between 2 people over and over. Just like for the flat record, they did it again here. This is the battle between Matthias and Dan. It started when Dan got a time of 2 minutes and 55 hundredths of a second in November 2014. This was actually the first Power World record Dan had ever held. But Matthias wasn't about to be beaten by a newcomer, so he lowered the record by 6 hundredths of a second, on the same day that Dan got his record. It took Dan a while, but in February 2015, he once again beat Matthias. But Matthias once again quickly dethroned Dan. It took him an entire week this time. This pattern continued throughout 2015. Dan would beat Matthias, but then Matthias would be back on top a few days later. The biggest reason why was because of the difference in how they handled the mushroom section. Matthias was very careful to straighten out his curve perfectly to directly head back to the track after hopping over the hill, while Dan struggled with this and couldn't fix the line of his car correctly. It cost him literally just hundredths of a second, but when someone was beating you by that small of an amount, it mattered. Eventually, Dan couldn't keep up with Matthias, so Matthias kept pushing the record down while Dan fell off. But what these two players had done, frame by frame, was take the time down closer to 2 minutes. Through better driving and optimizing the true hill jump to cut as much of the track as possible, now Matthias had a new goal. Take the time below 2 minutes. It was a time people had deemed to be impossible, including Matthias himself. But as he got better at the track, he started to doubt himself.
Lucas. Of course you're gonna not. Use a pistol. It doesn't matter, you're not gonna find me because there's other people named Blue Rio. It's not just me. You're not gonna find it.
He was 100th of a second away. Months of attempts had gotten him just 100th of a second away from glory.
I know.
Matthias had
That's
set
not
dozens
me.
upon dozens of world records in Mario Kart 64
Ready up.
across every track. But never before had he grinded for a record like this. He just had to take 0.01 off. There are Olympic speed world records that get improved by more than this on a regular basis. But as it turns out, to take 1/100th of a second off of fraps in the lane would be so much more difficult than anybody could have imagined.
Come on, please. No! Can't be possible.
Oh, Lucas, let's edit race. Me versus you.
This is a joke.
Let's do an edit race. I'll give you a 2-minute head start. Is that fair? It's fine. I already know how fast you edit. Faster than Kieran. Well, I do too. Impossible. Yes. But you've gotten better. Alright, I'll give you a 2-minute head start. Go.
After Rare made the famous Donkey Kong Country trilogy for the Super Nintendo, they knew they were going to have some big shoes to fill in the future. It's regarded as one of the greatest trilogies of games ever made, and following it up on Nintendo's next console, Nintendo 64, was not going to be easy. The result was this. Donkey Kong 64. Reviews came in, and one thing that most critics commented on was the length of the game, with most saying that it took at least 30 hours to get through all of it. When speedrunners today look back at that 30-hour estimate, we laugh. Over the past decade, speedrunners have played Donkey Kong 64 with the goal of beating it as quickly as possible. Rare designed a game with many...
Alright, 50 seconds left until I start.
To make sure you were actually playing through everything the way they wanted you to. As it turns out, they didn't do too great of a job of that. Let's take a look at the world record progression of Donkey Kong 64. We're going to start by going back to 2006. Meet Tom Bonneva. He's a speedrunning legend, known mainly for original NES titles. One of his most famous scores was on the NES port of the original arcade Donkey Kong, where he scored 3.1 million points over an incredible 6.5-hour gaming session. For on this particular day in 2006, November 15th to be exact,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He beat the game in 4 hours, 26 minutes. Let's see how he did it. So here's the deal with Donkey Kong 64. The 30-hour estimate that many reviewers gave was actually fairly reasonable at the time. If you want to beat the game, there's a number of things you have to do. It's broken down into 7 main levels: Jungle Jinx, Angry Aztec, Frantic Factory, Gloomy Galleon, Funky Forest, Crystal Caves, and Creepy Castle. You start out in an overworld, PK Isles, where you can access each of them. But before you can enter a level, other than the first level, Jungle Caves, you need to first unlock that level's lobby with a key. You get this key from the boss of the previous level. Then, once you enter the lobby, you're presented with a B locker. You can't enter the level until you get past him either. How do you do that? By collecting golden bananas, which you can get from either puzzles or minigames. You can collect a total of 25 of them in each level, 5 for each character you play with: Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Winky Kong, Tiny Kong, and Chunky Kong. Although you can only initially play as Donkey Kong at the start, you unlock the others as you play through the game. Each B locker requires an increasing number just one to start playing Jungle Japes, and by the time you get to the end of the game, you're going to need at least 100 of them. And once you're in the level, there's loads of collectibles that you need for various purposes, such as crowns and Nintendo coins, but by far the most common one is the colored banana. Colored bananas are scattered all over the levels of the overworld, sometimes in bunches of 5 or in balloons of 10. You need to collect hundreds of these to enter the boss of each level, which, as explained before, is necessary to unlock the next level with the key you collect from it. So yeah, Audible had a lot of work to do in those 4.5 hours. This was essentially most of Audible's run. He ran from level to level, collecting banana after banana to progress farther into the game. Once he got to 100 of the golden bananas, he entered the game's final stage, Hideout Home, where he had to unlock 3 doors to progress onto the final boss of the game by once again collecting various unlockables and executing a fairly long sequence of activities. And all that was left was the boss fight with King K. Rool, and Tom Bonava had beaten the game in 4 hours and 26 minutes, at least according to the in-game timer at the end of the game. And Donkey Kong 64 had its first video recorded speedrun. Unfortunately, all those components took a very long time. Having to play mini-games to collect the golden bananas was time-consuming. Collecting the hundreds of colored bananas you needed took forever, and each boss fight you did to get the key took a few minutes as well.
Done.
Doing all of those steps, plus the other unlockables that were needed, took an incredibly long time.
Okay.
But Vodka was best for those strategies. 4.5 hours miles ahead of 30 hours, and people look at his run with awe.
You know what? I'll give you a 5-minute head start.
He was willing to go, so neither he nor anybody else was up to the challenge of trying to beat it. Now, there had technically been a few runs before Vodka's run. A guy named Joe Wiello did a segmented run that clocked in at just over 5 hours, and Tom Bonava himself had spent a few
I
months
made you an easy one.
now. But once he got the 4 hour 26
Remember?
he stood and stood.
Remember I made you that easy edit course? No, I made a separate one that was easier for you.
At least until 2009. When you think of important events from 2009, what pops into your head? Obama was sworn in. Windows 7 was released. The Yankees won the World Series. Well, how about the Donkey Kong revolution? In June 2009, the stars aligned. On a long-forgotten thread hidden in a dark corner of a largely dead internet forum, runners came together and used all the knowledge they had gained over the past 3 years to completely change the way people ran Donkey Kong 64 in just a few short days. The first revolution revolved around 3 major tricks that began to be utilized at the same time. As explained before, much of what made Tom Bonava's run so long was having to collect keys to get to the lobbies, golden bananas to get past the V-lockers, and colored bananas to get to the bosses. Players were about to find a way around all 3 of these things. Trick 1. Skipping the keys. Since players needed to use a key to get into the lobby of each stage, it was necessary to fight the boss of the previous stage to get it. But they found a way around that. You could clip into the lobbies of certain stages, bypassing the requirement to collect the key. This means you could skip several of the boss fights and save multiple minutes not having to collect your keys. Well, great, you are in the lobby now, but you still have to pass the V-locker before you can enter the stage by giving them a bunch of golden bananas. Jungle Japes required just 1 golden banana, while Angry Accent required 5, Frantic Factory required 15, Gloomy Galleon required 30, Funky Forest required 50, Crystal Cave required 65, Creepy Castle required 80, and Hideout Home required 100. So there wasn't much of a point of clipping into the lobby if you still needed golden bananas to get past the V-lockers. This is where Trick 2 comes in. V-locker skipping. By playing as Lanky Kong and stretching his arms out, you can just barely touch the portal behind the V-locker to enter the level. Just a slight oversight on the game devs. Unfortunately though, this trick worked on every stage except for Frantic Factory, where you need 15 golden bananas, and Hideout Home, where you needed 100. Meaning that even if you skipped all previous doors using this Lanky Kong trick, you were still going to need 100 by the time you got to Hideout Home. so you still needed to spend the time picking all of them up in the other stages. Therefore, this trick wasn't all that useful. But on June 9th, 2009, Mano Cheese uploaded a YouTube video, Hideout Home Early. He was standing right in front of the entrance to Hideout Home, where there was a bee locker that required 100 gold bananas to pass through. He only had 17 gold bananas, so it looked like he couldn't gain access to the stage. He then did a trick known as ledge clipping, where he clipped into a tiny gap in the ground using the precise C-up press on the controller, while avoiding death to the lava by using invincibility frames gun by hitting himself with his own orange. And after very carefully maneuvering forward, while attempting to deal with the uncooperative camera controls, he jumped out and was in Hideout Home, with less than a fifth of the amount of gold bananas that he would have needed to collect to get there. So now, all the players needed was to collect the 15 gold bananas needed for Frantic Factory, and they were home free in terms of gold bananas. But then, once you were actually in the stage, you still needed to unlock the few bosses that you still needed to fight with colored bananas, which took a long time to collect. Welcome to Trick 3, skipping the colored bananas. Using the ledge clip once again, the player can clip into the ground and skip any boss door in the game. No more running around collecting hundreds of colored bananas anymore. Yet perhaps the craziest part of all of these tricks is the rapid rate at which they were discovered. Every trick that I just described was discovered from June 9th through June 12th, 2009. Skipping keys, gold bananas, and colored bananas. So all of a sudden,
I'm making my hardest edit course harder.
Optimized was suddenly blown wide open. On June 9th, the world record was won in a 4.5-hour run. On June 10th, runner PMIT posted on Speed Demo's archive to beat the game in 3 hours flat. June 12th, Mano Cheese decided to chop an hour off of that, finishing in 2 hours and 8 minutes. And June 13th, Mano Cheese dropped down to 1 hour and 39 minutes. Over the course of 4 days, the record went down 3 hours. It was just a third of the length that it was half a week before. Sadly, no videos exist of any of these runs, because the mentality of speedrunning was a little different back then than it was today. People didn't just stream around to Twitch and highlight it like they do today.
Me.
They weren't going to bother showing their run to anybody unless they were really happy with it, and these guys weren't at that point yet. But those few days in June 2009 have gone down in speedrunning history as one of the craziest route progressions ever. Donkey Kong 64 was changing, and they were only at the start of it. The first revolution was over, but there was still so much more to come. In the following months, Mano Cheese continued his streak of dominance over the game. Every few months, he would make a post announcing that he lowered the record down a few more minutes. Another guy, Lefty's Heroes, apparently held the record for a few days, and then quickly got beaten by Mano Cheese once again. There was also a Japanese runner, Cass, who did a run timed with real time that clocked in at 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 52 seconds, but most today don't recognize it as a legitimate world record. He played on the Japanese version, which was slower overall, and he used cheats that allowed for infinite ammunition, oranges, among other things. But as for Mano Cheese, we don't know too many details about his runs. It is possible that he got other records in between the ones that he posted about, but we do know that he gradually lowered it down from an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes, before finally breaching the sub-hour barrier on June 8, 2010. Finally though, in August of 2010, runners got to see video footage of Mano Cheese playing for the first time ever. Remember how I said before that runners weren't going to show a run unless they submitted it somewhere? Well, he submitted a 54-minute speedrun to Speed Demo's archive, and once it was verified, it was public for the world to see. There were golden banana skips, colored banana skips, and key skips throughout, combined with perfect gameplay elsewhere. In his submission notes, he said that he was done with the game. And who could blame him? He brought the record down from 3 hours to under an hour through sheer optimization and domination. He also said that he thought nobody would ever be able to get a 53-minute run unless new tricks were discovered. But 2 years later, one guy was finally up to the task: Ring Rush. However, he decided to do things a little bit differently from Mano Cheese. The first thing was he decided to switch to timing the run in real time with a timer from start to finish, instead of using the in-game timer at the end of the run. This allowed him to reset the game at various points in order to speed things up, and he could keep his real-time runner running while he reset. So where did he reset the game? Well, the first place was in Hideout Home, because he wanted to skip turning off the Blast-O-Matic, which normally requires a long and complicated checklist of things that you have to do. Typically, pausing and exiting in stages allows you to go back to the lobby, but in Hideout Home, it counts the game over, which isn't allowed for a single-second speedrun. So, Ringrush used a more brute force method, just resetting his game.
There, I made my already really hard-headed course much harder.
Remember how I said there were some lobbies you could access early by clicking?
Now time to try it.
It turns out it was possible for the Angry Aztec lobby as well. But the problem was, it was ridiculously hard. You had to do extremely precise movements and timed actions in midair, with an uncooperative camera, and if you messed up, it would take you half a minute to get back to the position where you try it again. It was a game-defining trick, but if you got it to work, you'd save 3 minutes. Armed with these tricks, Ringrush set out to beat the record. Over the course of a few months in mid-2012, he streamed his attempts to beat Tomato Cheese's record of 54 in-game minutes, or 52 minutes and 17 seconds of real time, the way Ringrush would be timing it. But the problem that he and so many other runners from back then had was that he didn't save any of his runs. He probably figured that Twitch's past broadcast system, which automatically archived all streams, would save it. But Twitch ended up deleting most of these a few years back. We know his runs are out there. They existed at some point, and people watched them live on Twitch. From May through July of 2012, he beat the world record 9 times, bringing it all the way down to 47 minutes and 18 seconds. Sadly though, the only one that we can watch today is part of the 47-18, because they talked about it on an old Speed Rank podcast, the Sunday Sequence Break.
Right. And here in Kansas, it's shitty. Yeah. There's a long cutscene with Diddy that says, like, hey, Brady.
Ringrush would later go on to discover an incredibly important trick that broke the game even more than it already was: lag clipping. The game tries to account for laggy areas by speeding you up to preserve constant motion. This means you can artificially create lag by shooting a bunch of oranges on screen if you want to go faster than normal, sometimes fast enough that you're able to clip right through walls. Hey look, there's the entrance to Angry Aztec. You're supposed to do the really hard Angry Aztec early trick. I wonder if you could do it against that wall and clip it. Yes you could. So now that Aztec early was way easier, there were a couple of runners that wanted to battle it out for the record. Ringrush, who had been crushing the record over and over for months, and Fox7, a Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time runner. But somebody else ended up hitting the world record first. You guys might know him today from his legendary Super Mario Bros. Speedruns.
Is that tied record?
His name is Cosmic P12. Years before he did any of his Super Mario Bros. Stuff, he was actually a top-level Donkey Kong 64 speedrunner as well. And he was the first guy to get the new Donkey Kong 64 record on November 18th, 2012. Fox beat it by 3 seconds about a week later, but just like so many others, he didn't bother highlighting it. But our boy Cosmic P12 sure did with his next record 1 week later.
I don't think I can beat this.
By the end of 2013, Ringrush had taken the record down to 42 minutes and 18 seconds. But by early 2014, yet another trick was discovered that would greatly change the category once again: main menu mode. Donkey Kong 64 has this cutscene at the start of the game that you can just skip over if you want, so that's what people were doing for many years. Until it was figured out that you could press A right when it's fading in, and then have the cutscene play in the background while you're playing the game, important one being that you can enter a place where the game temporarily gives you every move in the game, then trigger the cutscene to pull you out, and boom, you can play through the game with every move. You used to have to get these moves by unlocking each character, which you did by going into the first few levels and doing various tasks. So now you can skip doing that, since you had all the moves to begin with. The issue was, by far the easiest known way of flipping into hideout home early was by using Tiny Kong, who you had to unlock. It turns out that it was technically possible to do it with Donkey Kong 2, but it was just way harder. Ring Rush ended up lowering the record 8 minutes very quickly with these two strategies. So all of that being said, what was there left in the game to do? There was no need to collect gold bananas or colored bananas, no need to collect most of the keys, no need to unlock any other characters, no need to collect most other collectibles, and no need to even enter most stages in the game. The route now consisted of simply collecting key 8 and key 3, turning them in, and then fighting the final boss. But don't be fooled, that didn't mean the run was any easier than before. It was actually just the opposite. Doing all these tricks in a single speedrun, like clipping into the lobbies and skipping so many collectibles, is ridiculously difficult to do. Anyway, in 2014, a Japanese runner, Signa, and Ring Rush took turns lowering the record further down. They brought it down to the 30-minute mark, but on August 7, 2014, a different runner, Nernicus, and he had a run that was on pace going to the final boss fight.
Yeah! And that is DK64 in under 30 minutes.
This was the first time that the game had ever been beaten in under half an hour, 29 minutes. Nernicus had an amazing run, but how long did it stand as the world record? A few hours. Ring Rush got it back later that same day. That would ultimately be the last time that Ring Rush ever held the DK64 world record. Later on in 2015, 3 players took their turn lowering the record down a bit more. Isotarge, Signa, and Tiffany Fruit. And then, an 8% went dormant for a few months. Nobody ran it, and the world record was 26.56 by Tiffany Fruit. Why was that? Well, here's the thing. In April 2015, DK64 was released on the Wii U Virtual Console, and this version of the game had nearly no lag in it. That seemed like great news, because that meant the game wouldn't slow down if there were too many objects on the screen like it did sometimes on the N64 version, so maybe it would be faster for speedruns. And it would save around 2 minutes overall, but remember the lag clipping that I mentioned earlier? Yeah, that wasn't going to work on the Wii U Virtual Console version. Throwing the oranges simply wasn't going to create enough lag to build up the speed that you would need. And the place where that mattered the most was for Frantic Factory early. That lag created by the oranges that you see now couldn't be created on the Wii U Virtual Console. There's a method that you can do on the Wii U Virtual Console, but that method alone made
I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to
so
play.
hard that nobody even bothered trying. So, Tiffany Fruit's 2656 on Nintendo 64 was as good as anybody was going to get. At least until October 2016. On October 29th, Kiwi Killer 67 was able to pull off Frantic Factory early on the Wii U Virtual Console in a run, and closed out a run 40 seconds ahead of the world record.
G-fucking-G.
And here's the best part about this run. Nobody even wanted to try to beat it. Hitting a run that fast on Nintendo 64 was essentially impossible, and Frantic Factory early was so hard that nobody else wanted to mess with it. So 9 months later, Kiwi Killer 67's run remained the world record. But as they always were, new strategies were found. In mid-2017, players discovered that if you went to the Frantic Factory entrance, did a move kick to a raptor on the ceiling, and then did a ledge whip out of bounds, you could enter Frantic Factory, bypassing the need to do the ridiculously hard version of Frantic Factory early on the Wii U Virtual Console. With this new discovery, there were new world records, and a lot of them. did it, boys. Let's go. First main category, world record on stream.
Ow. Yes! Yes! I finished the hardest edit course.
2459 by Falcon X Falcon.
Holy crap. I'm convinced that's the hardest edit course. You can't get any harder than that. It just can't, Lucas. Just can't. Well, it can, but I'm not willing to do that part harder because he's not. It's not anime, it's anime. Amine, Terminant, Clutch with the CH. Yeah, but how did you not know how to spell it, and why did you believe him? Phase is spelled wrong because it's not actually trying to be spelled like P-H-A-S-E. They know phase is F-A-Z-E. Clutch C-L-U-C-H was a complete mistake. Phase is on purpose. I don't know. I thought it was a clan, but Thompson said it was a computer brand. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to. I know he doesn't want to. Because I know him. I'm his brother. I don't bug people. I don't just keep on saying, hey, arena. I'm not like you. I respect other people's decisions. I'm not trying to annoy him like you are. If he doesn't want to, then he does not want to. If he says no, don't ask. Just don't play with him. Alright? Because I'm not gonna bug. It's not anime, it's anime. I'm not gonna bug him anymore after this. Alright, we're going. Quick answer, Lucas, you said no. No, Lucas, you said no. So, Lucas, now that we know he's not going to play with us, what do you want to do? Yeah, there's a problem with that. I need to have people watch it, and I'm not popular. No. Hey, I'm still streaming.